Welcome to day 2 of the All I Want for Christmas is Arthritis Pain Relief Workout Challenge. I only had one Christmas sweater, so that was the Christmas spirit, but I want you to easily be able to tell which video is which. So I have read through all of the comments, all of the emails that I've gotten, and from what I've read, people are loving balance. People are loving the sideways, which is amazing. And that is one tool to keep in the back of your pocket. Moving sideways, moving backwards can be so incredibly helpful if you have arthritis. Now, this time, I see some comments of people that are feeling sore. If you're feeling sore, we're going to do this workout with body weight, meaning no weights. If you felt pretty good about yesterday, you're feeling pretty good today, you can grab some light weights. So what I'm going to actually use is soup cans. You can use water bottles, you can use dumbbells. If you're using dumbbells, I would err on the lighter side. So anywhere between like 1 to 5 pounds, you can always drop them or set them to the side if it does get to be too much. Okay, so I'll be using these for some of it. We are going to go ahead and get started. And one thing I want you to imagine is that adventure that you thought about in the beginning. That adventure that you want to be able to do. I got so many responses of people that want to do so many things. Keep that in the back of your mind as we go through this workout. You are already showing that you are dedicated to this process because you are here again today. And you deserve to be commended for that. So we are going to go ahead and get started. So let's start again with just lifting one foot and then the other. Now, I want you to see if you can take your legs up just a little higher. As always, support is an option. So if you need it, we can go sideways and just use one hand, or you can go forwards and use double-handed support. So double-handed support is going to provide you a little bit more. So I just want this workout to feel good to you, no matter what that looks like. If you have to modify, if you have to rest, if you just have to take a second, that is okay. This is your workout. I want it to feel good for you. You will get there. You will get to the weights. You will get to the speed. You will get to the power. Right now, I just want this to feel good. Last 10 seconds, I want you to speed it up just a little bit. Here's Teddy making his grand appearance. 3, 2, and 1. We are actually going to combine upper body and lower body. So we're going to take those backward steps from yesterday. What I want you to do is you're going to bring your arms up just like this. So parallel with the floor. If you need to bring them down a little bit, that's okay. But what we're going to do is you're going to drive those elbows back, meaning just like this. Drive those elbows back behind you as you do a backward step. So it's going to look like this. Drive those elbows back behind you. One thing I want you to think about your shoulders on this. Try not to hunch up. Keep them nice and low as you step backwards. This is just a warm-up movement, so don't worry about making this a lot more challenging. We're just getting some good movement through those shoulders, good movement from those hips. And stay here for 10 more seconds. This row movement with the shoulders usually feels really good. Whether you have shoulder pain, shoulder injuries, or you sit a lot for work or for whatever it may be, and you're in this kind of rounded forward position, this can be really helpful to open things up. 3, 2, and last one. Perfect. We're going to go actually right into another balance movement. I saw in a lot of comments, people really need to work on balance. So we are going to do that today. Again, we do have the corner of the wall just like last time. I want you to go one foot in front of the other. Now, if you have a weight, I would grab that weight. If we're doing body weight, we're just going to use your hands on this one. So one foot in front of the other. What we're going to do is we're going to take this weight and I'm going to pass it back and forth. Now, if you're not using a weight, I want you to pretend that you have an object that you're passing back and forth. But if you do have a weight, the heavier the object is, the harder this is going to be. This is essentially just a warm-up. I want you just to feel those feet working. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're just going to switch to the other side. One foot in front of the other. And now we're going to pass it back and forth. If you have pets, adds an extra balance challenge as you're trying or maybe you're a little bit distracted, which is sometimes really good for balance training because like I mentioned before, a lot of times you lose your balance because you're distracted. So if you have some added distractions, as long as they're not dangerous or posing any danger to you, this can be a good way to mix up your balance training. We're going to stay here for 10 seconds. Now, balance is incredibly important for joint support. So if balance is a struggle for you, this is a priority. You want to improve your balance. 3, 2, and last one. Okay, now I just want you to keep that one weight if you have it, or if you're just using body weight, I'll show you how to do that as well. What we're going to do, I'm going to hold onto the weight with my right hand, and I'm just going to hold it right up near my shoulder. If you're using dumbbells, the dumbbells can kind of rest on your shoulder, but what you're going to do is I'm going to press this overhead. And as I press this overhead, I'm going to step out to the side with my left foot. So remember we talked about sequencing. I want you to think a little bit as you're doing this. So we are pressing up and stepping out. We are pressing up and stepping out. Pressing up and stepping out. Pressing up and stepping out. Now, if you don't have a weight, just follow the same exact thing, but we're just reaching overhead. Now, with or without a weight, if reaching overhead does not feel very good to you, you can just reach out to the side, opposite arm, opposite side step. Now, again, the bigger step that you take, the harder this is going to be. You can also add a bit of speed to this if you're able to. 5, 4, 3, 2, and then last one. Okay, we are actually going to go straight over to the other side. So you're going to, let me get him out of here. Come on, Ted. Let's go. Come on. Okay, sorry about that. We're going straight over to the other side. So now I'm going to be pressing up with the left and stepping out to the side with the right. You just got a little bit of a break there. Okay, ready? So we're going to press up, straight up as I step out to the side with the right. Up and out. Up and out. Perfect. And with support for this one, you can just use the other hand to hold on to something if you need to. And you can use that weight if you were able to on the other side. Excellent. If you're feeling sore today, just take it slow. Listen to your body. That's one of the biggest things when it comes to arthritis is listening to your body. We're not pushing through significant pain. If you need to drop the arm and just step out, that is totally fine. Modify however you need to. We're going for 10 more seconds. I don't want you to feel discouraged. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. Don't feel discouraged if you have to modify. You'll get there. But it's better to be easy on your body than to push it way too hard. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Okay. Now, I want you to take your feet a little bit wider than shoulder width. Okay? From here, what you're going to do is I want you to sit your hips back slightly, meaning you actually take your hands and push your hips back. Similar to the hip hinge exercise we did yesterday, small bend in the hips, just so you're in this athletic stance versus standing straight up. So knees are just soft, they're not bent, they're just soft. And you're going to push those hips back. Now, what I want you to do is you're going to alternate punching straight out in front. Now, the whole goal of this challenge is to honestly show you what's possible. Show you that it's possible to actually feel good. I had a lot of comments about people that even when they were experiencing pain, they were able to do the movements and feel better afterwards. That is the goal. Because a lot of times when you go to see a doctor or a healthcare professional, not that they have some they want you to do badly or they want you to suffer, but they don't always give you the right options. A lot of times people are told don't move, don't exercise to save the joints. But unfortunately, that's just not true. So I'm really glad that you're here moving, and I hope that this feels good to you. Now what we're gonna do, keep the same position, and you're gonna alternate out to the side. So we're gonna alternate just like this. You can hold on to your small weights and do this as well. It's gonna be a little tougher. So only do it if it feels good to you, but it will add a little bit of a challenge. And honestly, how I got into osteoarthritis, and so I told this story yesterday about how we were in the independent living facility, people were thriving, and then we were in home care, and we saw the opposite end of the spectrum of people that were really, really struggling. So, an attempt to create a way for people with osteoarthritis to feel strong, to feel empowered, and to do this on their own, to build strength, find their endurance, build their stamina, actually build confidence. I started experimenting and testing different movements and things on patients that I was seeing right here in Utah. So, stay in the same position. You're going to take your arms straight back, and we're going to move back. You're basically extending your hands past your hips if you can. Now, sometimes this motion is not feeling very comfortable, so just go back as far as you can, but we're just pulsing. And I want you to think about your shoulders, just roll them back. So I met a few patients, one who was dealing with spinal stenosis. He had back pain, back spasms that he just felt like he was moving in this glass box because he was afraid to set off one of those spasms. And I don't know if any of you watching have dealt with muscle spasms in the past. You probably know that you're just very cautious of setting that spasm off. He said there has got to be another way. He was young, in his early 50s, and said, I cannot deal with this for the rest of my life. So we got to working together, and after working together, I realized that we had moved through 3 different steps, and a lot of people tend to skip the first one. But after these 3 steps, he now deals with no back spasms. He was able to actually go golfing with his family and enjoy it. That rotation, that usually set off his back spasm. He was able to go up the stairs and walk and actually enjoy the activities that he wants to. Now we're going back to that sideways motion, and I want you to add an arm with each step. Now this is one you can add some speed to if you're feeling up to it. We want to get those arms moving too. It's not just all about the legs. So anyways, he made these great leaps and bounds. Now granted, this is not an overnight success. It takes work, it takes dedication, and I'm sure that you've realized that thus far. But then I met another patient who had just been diagnosed with osteoarthritis, knee osteoarthritis, avid hiker. I don't know if any of you have been out to Utah, but there's amazing mountains and so many things to see. And so she's like, she basically described it to me as feeling like a stab to the heart, that if she couldn't hike, if she couldn't backpack, if she couldn't camp, that's a stab to the heart. 3, don't worry, I didn't forget about you too. And last one. Okay, we're gonna go into another balance one. So we're gonna go right back into one foot in front of the other. Standing here. This is a challenging one, so I just want you to be mindful. Grab support if you need it. Find your balance here first. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to look one way and then the other, and you will be surprised at how wobbly you may feel. So if you need to widen that stance out, and you're just looking just one way and then the other. You don't have to look way to the side. That can make you kind of dizzy. But you're just looking basically to one wall and then the other. I'll stop talking for this one just so we can concentrate. We're just going to stay here for 10 more seconds. Make those feet work. Really dig those feet into the ground. 3, 2, and switch. Switch the orientation of your feet. First, get balanced. Then, add that gaze shift. So you're just moving your eyes one way to the other. Now we become reliant a lot on vision when it comes to balance. And so this is mixing that up a little bit. If your vision's constantly changing, now your feet really have to work to keep you in one position. Versus if you're just staring straight at one object that's still, it's a lot easier to keep your balance. But again, a lot of times when you lose your balance or have difficulty with balance, you're not just standing, staring at a stationary object. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, let's grab both weights if you have them. If not, I'll show you what we're going to do afterwards. So what we're going to do now with these weights is you're going to push those hips back, hold those weights out in front, and you're going to pull them up towards your hips. This is one of my favorite upper body movements. Pull those up to your hips. Now, of course, without the weights, you're just going to do the same thing. Pull your hands or wrists up to your hips. It's not an up motion like this. It's a back. So think about driving your elbows back. So the woman that had knee osteoarthritis, again, said there has to be another way. I have to get back to hiking. But of course, she was told that it's probably not possible and all those other negative things. So we got to working together, and then I realized we went through the same exact steps. And she was not only able to hike, because one of her worries was, I feel that I could hike, but I'm just not sure I can keep up with my friends. And I don't know how many of you maybe have felt this way walking. You feel like maybe you are a burden, or you just feel self-conscious about your ability to not be able to keep up, or always feel like you have to rest all the time. She was actually able to keep up with her friends and actually enjoy it. She was able to get back to hiking and camping and backpacking for miles. And the interesting thing was she had a lot of pain at night. She had this weird kind of burning sensation in her knee that kept waking her up. And getting your sleep back, let me tell you, is one of the most important things when it comes to pain. Sleep and pain are very much correlated. Poor sleep can lead to increased pain sensitivity. 3, 2, and 1. We are now taking, if you could find a couple of steps forwards and backwards, because what we're going to do is you're going to just take a couple steps forwards and then a couple steps backwards. Okay, I want you to get used to moving backwards primarily. Now, if you do feel like you're limping, use a wall or use a kitchen counter, wherever it may be, but I want you just to take a couple steps forward and a couple steps back. If you're like, I got this, I can do this, increase the speed. So now we're essentially power walking forwards, power walking backwards. Now, of course, please make sure you have no obstacles behind you, but we're going forwards and backwards. Yes. So then I got to thinking, okay, these 3 steps continue to work. Then I met someone who wanted to return to skiing and was dealing with knee osteoarthritis. 3 steps, and it worked. And then I met somebody else who wanted to just get back to squatting again and being able to get up and down from the floor, kneeling, stairs. It worked. So then it was, okay, I'm only one person. I can only see so many people, and I am located right here in Utah. What about the people that are outside of Utah? What about the people that are overseas? How can they get this information? I want to give people hope and to give people the steps that they need to be able to find relief. Because honestly, we are breaking through the doom and gloom because it can be so scary and so frustrating, overwhelming, confusing to feel lost on this journey. To feel like there's nowhere to turn but surgery, because I met so many people that felt that way. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now what I want us to do, and this one you can grab both weights if you have them. I'm going to step forwards with my right leg. Bring both of those weights up near your shoulders. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my left knee up into a march and then come back. I'll show you from the side. I'm going to bring it up into a march and then come back. Now notice, this is some time spent on one leg. So If you do need support for this one, it will look like this. You can absolutely reduce the height that you're bringing your knee up with. So you can just keep it here. To make this harder, increase the speed. Make it a little quicker. And then you can lose the support as well to bring in a little bit more balance. But we're going to stay on this side for about 20 more seconds. Excellent. Feel those thighs. Woo! Feel that balance. Maybe start to get a little more challenging as we move through this. That's totally normal. 3, 2, and 1. Balance becomes much harder under fatigue. So if you start to notice it becomes a little harder, that is okay. Totally normal. Okay, now what we're going to do is you're just going to switch sides. So now my left leg is in front, and I'm going to bring that right knee up and then come back. Using support, same thing. Start to raise that heart rate. Or maybe it's just because I'm doing all this stuff, my heart rate's raising. Excellent. So these 3 steps I want to share with you, which is why a couple of you have already joined in and a couple of members are on here already, but the Arthritis Adventure Blueprint walks you through these exact 3 steps. Everything you need to know step by step. Now, what are these 3 steps? Great question. So number 1 is understand. And this is honestly one that unfortunately so many people miss out on. Understanding what osteoarthritis actually is and what's causing your pain. Because I promise you, if you are told that it's just wear and tear, you have not been given the full story. Because it's not just wear and tear. And actually, it's a good thing. How is that leg doing? 3, 2, and then last one. Okay. Now, what I want us to do is we are going to go into a sequence similar to yesterday. You can grab one weight if you have it, and I'm going to put it in my right hand. Okay, what we're going to do is you're going to punch and step forward. Punch and step to the side. So we're not adding the backwards in like yesterday, but we're adding in the arm component. And for this one, I want you to think about increasing the speed if you can. Of course, without the weight, you're just doing the same exact movement. Just like this. So there are ways to make everything harder. But for some of you that are feeling sore, take it easy, slow it down. Not just wear and tear. And like I said, that's a good thing because there are other things that are contributing to your pain, meaning there's something you can do about it. Because if you were told it's wear and tear, your cartilage is gone, maybe you're bone on bone, that insinuates the damage is done, so that's it. I just need surgery. But there's a source of pain when it comes to osteoarthritis that research has shown, you may have heard, it's low-grade chronic inflammation. It's kind of a word that's been tossed around. But in the case of osteoarthritis, there are a lot of things that contribute to inflammation. It's still a good thing because those things can be modified. Now we're going to switch and we're going to go to the other side. I'm going to stand on the right. You're going to step and step. Okay, so we're stepping forwards and punching, stepping sideways and punching. Increase the speed if you're able to. Things like sleep and the foods that you eat and the stress that you're under, the type of exercise that you're doing, all contribute to inflammation. But what's fascinating about when you go to a medical appointment or just talk to somebody about osteoarthritis, those are rarely ever mentioned. Maybe you're told just lose weight, or maybe you're told take it slow, no high impact exercise, maybe even become fearful of exercise. So do you see where the problem is? So the first thing is just understanding what can actually cause osteoarthritis pain. Secondly, then you have to prioritize, which is step number 2. Because if you try to accomplish all these things at once, whether it's weight loss, food, getting better sleep, controlling stress, etc., that can be really overwhelming. So I want you to prioritize the things that are contributing to your pain, because I promise you, each one of you are going to have different sources of pain. 3, I didn't forget about you. 2, and 1. Excellent. Okay, now what I want us to do is I want you to put one foot in front of the other again. So we're in this staggered stance. It doesn't have to be very far. What I want you to think about is turning your hips and pushing them forward. Let me show you from this way. So this is a stretch of the front of your leg. You can let your heel come off the ground if that's too tight on your calves. Think about trying to push your hips forward till you feel a stretch right in the front of the leg that's behind. You can absolutely use support for this too. If you want to keep your heel on the ground and also get a calf stretch, you can. You can just modify how far apart your feet are. And I just want to see if you can just rock a little bit. You're keeping the back leg straight, and we're just kind of oscillating with the front leg. Just rocking back and forth so you feel that stretch there. Okay, now let's switch to the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my left leg forward, and I'm going to take my right leg back. Just go back as far as feels comfortable. And then push your hips forward. You will feel a stretch in the front of your right leg now. Hip flexor stretch, they can get tight a lot of times. So we're going to stretch them, and then we're going to use them because that's important. So once you're able to prioritize what is actually causing your pain, you pick 1 or 2 things to focus on. Things become a lot less overwhelming. And that's when you can start to really see success. Because if you're focusing on just weight loss, that can be a lot of things. That can be exercise, that can be, a lot of the things that contribute to sleep also contribute to weight loss. Or contribute to pain, also contribute to weight loss. So we're talking sleep, stress, food, everything. So weight loss can be really overwhelming as well. So if we're just focusing, say, on food, then you just figure out and hone in what you need to do on that front first. And then start to gain some movement, and then you start to build on this progress. You start to actually see progress. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Okay, now what I want us to do is go right back into that march. So now we just stretched the fronts of the hips, and now we're going to use them a little bit more. Just for a few seconds here, and then I'm going to show you something else. 3, 2, and 1. Now I want you to grab a weight if you have it. If you don't, that's totally fine. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with the weight first, and then I'll show you how to do it without. Okay. I'm just going to move this chair out of the way for a second. You're going to stand on one side of the weight. So you're going to put whatever object you have on the floor. I'm going to stand on my left side, and I'm going to actually step over to the side. So we're getting a little bit more hip flexor involved. Step over and back. Now, of course, if you do not have a weight, you can find a line on the floor. You can make an imaginary line on the floor. And just imagine you're stepping over a line or an object. Now, the higher you go, the harder this will be. You can also add a little bit of speed to this as well. But if you are using an object, please make sure that you don't trip on the object. So once you have the 2 or 3 things to prioritize, the 2 or 3 things that are really flaring up your pain, and a lot of times it's not always what you think. A lot of times movement is the only thing that's blamed for pain, but it's so many other things. If you're in a toxic relationship, if you're busy at work, there are so many other things that contribute to pain. And that could be what a lot of you may be missing, is missing out on actually understanding what causes pain, because likely you maybe haven't been told. It's wear and tear everywhere out there, but that's actually not the case. But if you're not given the information, then how are you supposed to know? And then once we're able to prioritize, you're able to actually start making changes, actually start seeing relief, Then the last one is commit. Trust me, it is so much easier to commit to something when you know why you're doing it. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. You may feel some inner thighs stretching maybe from reaching. So you're just going to stand on the other side of the object or make an imaginary object on the other side of you. And we're doing the same thing. You're reaching over and then coming back. Reaching over and then coming back. If you find yourself constantly falling off the wagon, if you find yourself trying things, like committing to something for a week or two, maybe even a month, but then just start to lose interest or become unmotivated, without a specific plan, it's very hard to stay motivated. But if you have the exact things that you need to, the exact foods to get at the grocery store and what to look for, the exact exercises and the exact workouts to do, it makes committing a lot easier because now you know, hey, I know that this is doing me some good. I don't have to be hesitant of, oh, should I avoid this certain movement that my friend is doing? I'm not sure if this is making it worse. You really understand how to read your pain. I have a lot of pain. That means my joint's telling me, let's modify. I have a little bit of pain. That means my joint's saying, I'm unsure, but we can keep going. You'll learn how to read those things. And it's just so incredibly powerful, but it's so incredibly frustrating that you don't get this information anywhere else. So this is all packed inside the Arthritis Adventure Blueprint. Those 3 steps it walks you through. Understand, prioritize, and commit, which is why this has worked for hundreds of people, because it's actually the steps that you need to empower yourself, to encourage yourself, to motivate yourself. Hey, there is actually something I can do instead of feeling like you have to just take a back seat. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now what we're going to do is actually go back to the other side. And what I want you to do, you're going to put your left foot right next to the object. And I actually have my right foot behind it. So let me show you from the side. It looks like this. And the object is right here in case you can't see it. You're going to step forwards and backwards, but now over the object. So this is going to be a little bit harder than if you were just on the ground. But you can absolutely take it just to the ground if you need to. The raising forward and then lifting back is going to be fairly challenging. The higher you go, the harder this will be. And inside the Arthritis Adventure Blueprint today, I have packed in 2 exclusive bonuses. 2 of my most requested guides, one of them being the road trip guide. So how many of you have either been on a trip, on an airplane or in a car, maybe have a long commute, or you find yourself sitting a lot during the day and are wondering, is there something I can do to reduce the stiffness so my joints don't feel like cement blocks when I stand up? This guide has movements to help with shoulder stiffness, back stiffness, hip stiffness, knee stiffness, ankle stiffness. 1 movement for each that you need entirely no space for. So you can do them on airplanes too. It improves blood flow and can really help to reduce that stiffness so you don't dread the first few steps that you take. 3, 2, and 1. Switch sides. Okay, so now I'm putting my right foot next to the object and my left foot is behind. And I'm stepping over and back. Over and back. Again, you can lose the object completely and just take those small steps if you need to make this a little easier. The second guide is a morning routine guide because again, how many of you have maybe been wondering, wow, I am so stiff in the morning, there's got to be something I can do to reduce the stiffness. Same thing, 1 movement for each joint from shoulders down to the ankles. If you did the whole routine, it would take less than 5 minutes. But choosing 1 or 2 of those movements can really help you to start your day. You've just spent a lot of time laying down in one position for the most part. So adding in some lubrication to those joints, improving that blood flow, getting those joints warmed up can help you feel less stiff in the morning or not feel like you have to hobble around for the first 10, 20 minutes of the morning. Both of those guides are included inside the Arthritis Adventure Blueprint if you purchase by Sunday. So in the email that I send out after this, I will show you the link to go to purchase that. We've already had some people hop in already, but it's arthritisadventure.com/bonus. I know we're working out, so you're not typing on your computer, but that's okay. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now this one is a balance movement. And it's funny because every time I give this to somebody, there's like an initial hesitation because it can be kind of scary because you're essentially going to put all of your weight on one side. So I have my object right in front of me. Now, if you're just in your house and you haven't been using weights, I would grab some sort of object near you. You can use a pillow, you can use a water bottle, whatever you have. If you have nothing, that is okay. What we're going to do is you're going to alternate tapping the weight in front of you or the object in front of you. But what can be scary with this one is you essentially have to shift all of your weight onto one side to lift that leg up. Now you can use support like this. The higher the object, the harder this will be. Keep going. I'm going to keep talking to you to try to distract you. We're going to go for about 20 more seconds. So you have till December 18th to get inside that Arthritis Adventure Blueprint. And what's really cool is that all the Arthritis Adventure Blueprint members, I'm currently developing a monthly membership. And the Arthritis Adventure Blueprint members are going to be the first to get inside, to have the opportunity to do continued workouts, to see continued arthritis tips, because after thinking about it, it's like, you need continued support. I want to keep giving you movements. I want to keep making you feel good, keep giving you confidence, keep talking about all kinds of arthritis tips. So all the Arthritis Adventure Blueprint members will be the first to get access to this monthly membership before it's released to the public. Now, the best part about it is you also, as a part of the Arthritis Adventure Blueprint, you get a free one-on-one mini session with me. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Okay. I want you to take your legs a little bit wider than shoulder width. Okay. This one is one of my favorites for inner thighs. Those get really tight sometimes. What I want you to do is you're just going to shift your weight side to side. Now I'm keeping this leg straight. So if I'm moving to the left, my right leg is staying straight. You're not even necessarily like bending your knee or anything. You're just shifting your weight, moving your hips back. Shift your weight until you can feel a little stretch here. Of course, use support if you need it. But we're just shifting our weight side to side to feel just a little pull. If your range of motion isn't great, that's okay. Just feel a little pull. Rocking back and forth. 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going back to that arm and that backward step that we did in the beginning. We're going to row back and then step back. Row back and step back. So the only place to get a one-on-one session with me is inside the Arthritis Adventure Blueprint. Now, the one-on-one session is going away after this challenge, where new Arthritis Adventure Blueprint members won't have access to a one-on-one session. So if you get in now, you will have 6 months to use your one-on-one session. We talk about all kinds of things from flare-ups to questions people have to how to keep progressing in the gym after I finish the blueprint. How do I break through a plateau? All kinds of different things. But that will be going away after this challenge. So If you get in before the 18th, you'll have access to those bonuses and early access to the membership and the one-on-one session with me. If you're a current member, I just sent out an email. We all have 6 months to use the one-on-one session. Plenty of time to get through, to ask your questions. So I would love it if all of you could join me inside the Arthritis Adventure Blueprint. If you go to the page where I send the link out to, you will see lots of different testimonials and things from different members that have been through the program, what they've accomplished. 3, 2, and last one. Okay, now we're gonna take our right hand. What I want you to do is you're gonna lift it up and you're gonna bring it down like a half circle. Then the other side, you're gonna lift it up and bring it down like a half circle, okay? Raise it up, bring it down. Raise it up, bring it down. Raise it up, bring it down. 2 more, raise it up, bring it down. Well, I guess 2 more now, so we do 1 more each side. And then last one. I want to go back to that same hip flexor stretch that we did about halfway through. Where you're in this staggered stance. For me, my right leg is in front, my left leg is behind. Try to push those hips forward so you feel a stretch right here. If you're not feeling it, you might need to go a little wider, or think about just pushing your hips forward a little bit more. 3, 2, and 1. Now let's switch to the other side and we'll wrap it up. Okay, so now you're pushing those hips forward, feeling a stretch right in the front here. Three, 2, and 1. Now again, remember that adventure you thought about in the beginning. We're going to do 2 deep breaths, and what I want you to do is visualize yourself doing that. And now you have the steps to get you there. So what we're going to do is you're going to take a deep breath. Inhale as you raise up. Try not to go through your shoulders, go through your stomach. Imagine yourself doing that, and you're just going to exhale. Imagine yourself walking down the stairs or walking for 30 minutes. Skiing, hiking, and come down. Now, what I want you to know is that's possible. And I want to also commend you for being here today, for finishing workout number 2. I have so many people that are like, this is the most I've exercised in a long time. And that's honestly one of my favorite things, because that's what I'm trying to do, is show you that you can get back to exercising. It is possible. You can feel strong. You can feel confident. And now I'm able to give you those steps too. So if you're feeling good right now, I want you to remember how this feels. And I want you to keep this momentum going. So thank you so much for joining me. I am going to send you out an email with the replay of today if you'd like to go through it again, and also the link to get the Arthritis Adventure Blueprint. We have, I think it's 3 days now left to get inside that program. So I will send you that. And I'm also going to send you some wins of people that have been able to accomplish awesome things inside that email. So if you have any questions, just reply to the email. Let me know how you're feeling. Again, make sure you do comment down below or in this live chat if you are watching live right now, what your favorite movement was and that you completed it. If you're live here, I already know that you're here. So if you're watching on the replay, comment down below. So let me know what your favorite movement is and that you completed the workout. And then we will do the drawings on Saturday. So the drawings for the prizes are Saturday, and the Arthritis Adventure Blueprint expires Sunday. Okay, those are the 2 dates you need to know. I will also send you out the link to day 3 as well. Thank you again so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. One thing for tomorrow, have a chair. Everybody needs a chair, not just for support, but we're going to be using them for some squats and things like that. So have a chair you can actually stand up from, and that doesn't have wheels. Okay, I'll put that in the email, but I will see all of you tomorrow.